Hello, my name is Seth. I am one of the Jesus Bros on this channel. This is my testimony. I'm just gonna talk about what I have been through my life, my perspective on the faith, the Christian faith. Yeah, let's get into it. So, I grew up, I was born, that was good. I grew up in a Protestant household, like non-denominational. My grandparents were like evangelical, kind of Protestant. My great grandpa pastored I would say evangelical leaning Protestant church up in northern Indiana. My parents are both Protestants. A lot of my friends are Protestant. My parents also realized though when I was a kid that public school sucks. And so they put me in Catholic school, even though they weren't Catholic. And then my mom has worked at Catholic schools for like 25 years, like a long time. So they're still Protestant. My grandparents, my family's also Protestant. But I've been in Catholic faith schools my entire life, and so I've kind of had this weird, unique dual perspective on Protestant, but also Catholic faith. So I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. What happened? So I kind of grew up, very just Christian household. We're always we prayed to bed. We're always praying. Always went to church every Sunday morning. Um, my parents are the best parents of all time. I think they're genuinely so good in their faith, and they are such good role models for my faith life, and have taught me so much about my faith, and how to live it out, how to deal with conflict, how to love God and love others. They have been probably the biggest role models for me. They are amazing. So I really owe all of my faith upbringing to them and just their grandparents, like my grandparents and their parents, and they're all just amazing in their faith. Um, so yeah, so I grew up very cradle Christian, whatever you want to call it. Boring testimony, people say. I would say then I really when my faith became my own was probably around sorry, the camera's really bad right now. Why is it so low? I would say my faith became my own like my sophomore year of high school. So once again, upbringing till sophomore year, very Christian, very Catholic. I knew a lot about God. I didn't really know God yet. So that's the main difference is when I got to know God instead of knowing about God. I would say my sophomore year, because my church has a really good youth group. I'm gonna talk about youth group a lot. Youth group was the biggest way that I found God and felt God's presence, and just surrounding myself with people who also wanted to follow God was so effective and so impactful in my own life. At first, going to Catholic school, all my Catholic friends just seemed very uh their faith seemed very fake. It was just they had to go to Sunday Mass. They were obligated to go to Sunday Mass. Everybody kind of dreaded going to Mass, dreaded going to adoration. My perspective originally on the Catholic faith was kind of man, you know, I don't know, And so sophomore year is when I found God, I would say, and my faith became my own. My relationship with God became my own, and so first felt God at youth group. We have a fall retreat we do every year. Really amazing, tons of worship and God and talks and fun games and events. I'm just you're a good retreat. I've been on that 5 times now because I've worked it one time. But anyways, let's keep going. So yeah, sophomore year, um, I was I locked in with God. And then junior year is probably when I became curious about God. I wanted to learn more. And so I recall I played volleyball and football in high school, and so before practice, I would just be in my car reading. I loved Romans back in the day. It's a lot of the New Testament. I loved all the letters from Paul. I read the Screwtape Letters, also amazing book, The Great Divorce. I love C.S. Lewis. He's also my go. So I just kind of got very deep, deep in my faith, just learning so much about God, about myself, about how to grow my faith, all these things. And it was like very like a lot of growth my junior year. I was really scared to like talk. I was really scared to like talk about my faith. I was just scared of what others were gonna think of me. Even though I was in a Catholic school where like we were allowed to talk about God and like be a Christian, like I was still scared. Like I still lacked so much boldness and courage, even though I was in a Christian environment, which is crazy to like think about. Junior year, like sophomore year, I like unlocked God um for myself. Junior year, I really grew with God a lot. In the senior year, I like found my identity in God, I would say. And I kind of became like more willing to talk about God and like my own faith with others, just in very public settings. I was way less lukewarm than I was like compared to like the other 3 years of my high school. I just got more confident in my faith, not like confident in myself, but confident in God, and just more trusting in Him. I had a really interesting relationship experience with a girl, let's call her girl one, and in my junior year, and I learned a whole bunch junior year about God and myself and dating, and um, it was hard because it was a really hard experience for me. It was very weird, very complicated. I know it's like a cliche, like oh, it's complicated, but like it was very complicated. But I'm glad it happened because I can look back on it now, and I'm like thankful that I learned something from a hard experience because I grew from that experience. It was hard for me, but I learned a lot, and I'm thankful it happened. So yeah, senior year is like when I kind of like found my identity more in God for the first time and like was confident to talk about God. It was awesome. When once I allowed myself to open up about God and like talk about it with others and be vulnerable in my faith with others, I grew so much more and found so much more fulfillment and joy in comparison to when I was just like a freshman, sophomore trying to fit in and doing stupid things just to fit in and just to be a people pleaser. Like that was bad for me. And I didn't find any like long-term joy. I just found like happiness. I was like, okay, this is fun. Okay, now I'm sad again. Oh, this was fun. Oh, now I'm depressed again. But when once I like took on that persona of like, okay, I'm a Christ follower. I want others to like recognize me as that, and like I want it to be like my personality almost, right? I found more like long term, like steady joy and even happiness too. Joy, happiness, peace was huge, especially senior year when things are really stressful. And, like college stuff is really confusing and it's just scary. I found a lot more peace and joy and comfort when I like took that identity of God like on, like kind of like wore it. I guess I forgot to mention this. So during sophomore, junior year, senior year, I'm still Protestant. I'm still in Protestant right now, but youth group was like the biggest faith thing that I had. Because I was just always surrounded by other guys and girls who wanted to grow in their faith, who were also very vulnerable, very approachable, very open. And so senior year, uh, in our youth group, we had like a core group. And so core group helps lead youth group on Sunday nights. And so I was called one of like the OG members of core group. And so we actually got to do a lot of like leading youth groups, like prepping messages, being very like outgoing and like just being leaders at youth group, um, checking up, making sure like everybody is okay, doing okay, like text wise, like checking up on them on text with calls. So just I loved like ministry and the idea of like helping others in ministry and like being there for them, even when they're not doing okay, even when I'm not doing great. And so I've always loved God. I love other people. I love helping them. I love um, ministry. I really do. And so I've always kind of, I feel like I felt called to like do ministry. I just don't know what that looks like. Um, Obviously, it's always changing. I never know what God has in store for me. But when I, like time and time again, when I choose to trust God with what I want to do, somehow He finds a way to make it better, more fulfilling. Um, every time. And it like it's genuinely insane how God works. I can't even explain it. It just happens and he's just amazing. And his timing is just always on time. Yeah. And so senior year was like my best year of high school for sure. Class wise, faith wise, leadership wise, like taking on that role of like, okay, I am gonna be like a Christian leader here. Um, with my friends who weren't always the best, and I wasn't either. I mean, we're all hypocrites in some way. Um, but I really hated being a hypocrite. I hated being two-faced, and so was very self-disciplined senior year and just very like locked in my faith and just always trying to prioritize my faith. And so senior year, I still really didn't like have any desire to become Catholic. All of my Catholic friends at that school, at my high school, weren't. I'm gonna use keeping the word like keep using the word locked in. They weren't locked in their faith. Once again, they just were kind of floaters. They just kind of floated through life. They went to mass because they had to. They didn't even go to mass sometimes. Um, I really began to like adoration a lot senior year. My high school had adoration, so that was really nice. Um, but I've kind of like felt called to the Eucharist. It just like Eucharistic miracles are crazy. If you know anything about that, they just make no sense. So I want to I like that can't just be random. And so like me as a Protestant with Protestant upbringing, I'm like researching those and it's like wow, like this is crazy, and it's hard for me to like look at that and like okay yeah, this isn't real. Um, so I end up going to Marian University. Marion's where I go right now. It's downtown Indy. I'm from Indiana, and Marion is freaking awesome. I am a part of this program called Sondom. It is literally fire. It's like this big squad of people who love God and do a lot of side quests, and we just have fun, but also grow with God a lot. And the community at Marion is insane. It is so good and faithful, and like I feel like we're like all on this big ship, like this like big cruise ship, right? And we're all like going to heaven, and like Marion is the ship, and like we're all just like on this cruise ship to heaven. Like it is crazy. And everybody we get to hang out on the cruise ship, but we're all like heading towards heaven, and we're all heading towards God, and so it's really awesome. And what else was I gonna say? What am I talking about? Oh yeah, my testimony. Yeah. So I'm just yapping right now. Holy crap. Uh, what am I trying to say? Lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in. Okay. So okay, yeah, senior year. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Marion because I want to do ministry and marketing. Because I love God a lot, and I want to like. I was already doing a lot of marketing for the youth group page, like on Instagram. We have like a youth group page, and I like was running that, and so I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just do ministry because like that's what youth group is, and then I'll do marketing because I'm marketing on social media, so it's the same thing. Uh, yeah, so that's what my plan was for Marion. I actually just switched my major, but I'll get to that in a minute. What was I gonna say? Um, wow. I don't know what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so I got to Marion and I just like fell in love with the community. Um, it's awesome at Marion. I'm glazing Marion right now, but it truly is like it's peak. It's so peak. I'm a freshman in Marion right now. I'm just a freshman. I'm 18 years old. I'm not by any means. Uh, wow, guys, I am struggling to talk right now. This is crazy. Freshman year at Marion has been awesome. I have made a lot of new friends, like a lot of new friends, and they have brought me closer to God a lot more than I thought they could. And that sounds like really prideful, and it kind of is. Because I kind of came into Marion, um, I was very proud of being not Catholic, which sounds kind of funny, but when you're surrounded by people who aren't just don't believe the same things as you, you either kind of like go back into your shell or you like own it. And so I kind of like owned it. I was very familiar with mass and everything and a lot of Catholic things because once again, I grew up in Catholic high school and middle school my entire life. So I knew a lot about Catholicism and just the church. Um, Once again, I don't believe everything uh, right now, but I've always been very open to whatever God wants me to do. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is how um, being open is like the best thing you can do for yourself. And that's not even like just faith. Like that's like, I mean, obviously it's faith, but like learning, jobs, even like activities, like fun stuff, like trying new things, being open to trying new things is so huge. Being open to meeting new people, they're all just like very good things. So being open is huge. Um, but I really have found, I love daily mass, guys. I've go to the daily mass at Marian. They have mass every day at 12. It is really nice. I love adoration also. So I think right now, like my time being at Marian, I have learned a lot more about the Catholic faith, and taking more steps, I think, in that direction. Just as I learn more, I'm like, okay, that actually makes sense. I kind of believe that. I kind of like agree with that. Um, I don't think like I'm fully there yet. I think I believe in the Eucharist. That one just kind of like makes sense to me. I don't know what that even means, but other things like I just want to learn more. That's the thing. And so I will probably end up doing OCA next year, like this upcoming year. Um, but right now I forgot to say this. Right now I also work as a youth pastor intern for my church. And so I have this really cool view of I am currently doing ministry with my youth group at my Protestant church. I'm like the youth pastor, young intern guy. But then I also am surrounded by all these really faithful and locked in Catholics who love God a lot. And I have learned a lot from them. And it's been really cool because their faith lifestyle is so much different than my friends that were in high school. It has made, oh, this guy's trying to hit me. Holy crap. It has made the Catholic faith much more attractive and like fulfilling and joyful than it was in high school. Because in high school, once again, my friends were not locked in. They were just floating through life. Um, I'm kind of generalizing them, but a few of them were like really locked in, and it was awesome. Um, and some of them were not as locked in. That's okay. But Marion has definitely changed my perspective on what my faith can be like as a Catholic. I have met so many people that are Catholic who are so locked in, and it's so cool to me. And it just interests me how somebody who's Protestant, and even Orthodox, like all whatever, Protestant, evangelical, Orthodox, whatever, Catholic, they can all be so locked in their faith, but like they believe different things, but they still love God so much, and so it always is kind of like the question that like comes to my mind is what's like the right answer, you know? Because there's so many convincing arguments for both, like for all the sides. Um, and so yeah, so that's kind of some background on me. Once again, grew up Christian, surrounded by Catholicism. So yeah, I guess like right now, like the question I'm kind of asking myself is like, what's next? Um, I was writing a book that was kind of like Narnia. The past like 9 months because I've been bored in college, but I stopped writing the book because I talked to my two buddies. They're on this channel too, the twins, and they are also wanting to write a book, and so we're gonna like combine write a book together. But we figured out all the plot line and stuff. We just gotta like actually write it now, so we're gonna do that in the summer. But we were like, why don't we just make a YouTube channel and just whatever. This channel is for filming side quests and spreading the word of God. Um, if you have any questions about me or my life and like my faith, I will answer like all of them. I love helping people get closer to God and being vulnerable and transparent with people so they can like grow closer to God. Like with my, like, God can work through me to help them go closer to God. That's like my goal every day. I literally pray every day, like, God, use me today. Like, make me a beacon of light, make me instrument of your peace, make me a leader. Like, that's literally what I say every day to God, and he does. And it has made me like so freaking happy and so joyful, and I am just so like beyond blessed, genuinely. I have so many things I don't deserve, because God is so nice to me and shows me. Okay, my storage ran out. I'm sorry, I had to pause the video, but if you want more content on us and about our faith journeys and our faith lives and such, please comment like questions you have. We will answer them. We're gonna make more videos just like us talking, but also doing more side quests and stuff. Um, yeah. So stay blessed. Hope. I'm glad you made it this far in the video. Um, ask me questions, I'll answer them. The other guys are gonna also make testimonies so you can get us to get us. Wow. The other guys are gonna make testimony videos so you can get to know us better. And yeah, thanks for watching.